Well, everyone, the iPhone 17 is one of those phones that just came out. It's a pretty big flagship right now, but the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 was one of those phones that came out many years ago, about 5 years ago, and it is one of those really interesting phones because, people really aren't going to buy this phone anymore. However, this phone does hold up fairly well against some of the latest competition, and I do think they are just such interesting phones. It's the last Note phone Samsung made, so I wanted to see how both these phones pretty much compare. Now, if you do want to go through and pick up either one of these particular phones, probably more so the iPhone 17, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 came out back in 2020. So this phone is significantly older now, it's over 5 years old, and this phone is basically going to be giving you a 6.7-inch Super AMOLED Plus display. So it's going to be a 1080p panel, and it's going to be a pretty good solid display. It's still holding up fairly well. Now, a few things. It's not the most bright display of all time, it's definitely not going to be that. It's also not going to be giving you any 120Hz displays or anything like that at all either. It is a hole punch display, and it does actually look kind of still nice, right? The hole punch really isn't that bad, and it still looks very good. But the lack of 120Hz is kind of a little bit of a downside. Again, it isn't that big of a deal, but depending on who you are, that could be one of the bigger turnoffs. But it does have a fingerprint sensor in the display too, which is actually kind of a nice touch. With something like the iPhone 17, this particular device is basically going to be giving you a 6.3-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this panel, in almost every single way I can imagine, is definitely going to be probably the better display and the better device in almost every single way right now. So the iPhone 17 is going to be giving you this, good display, 3000 nits of peak brightness, which is amazing, but also 120 Hz. As long as the panel has 120 Hz, you're pretty much set for a while. If a phone doesn't have 120 Hz, it's always going to feel like a more older, older type of device. And that's kind of what you're going to be experiencing here. So with something like an iPhone 17, this is definitely going to be a significantly, I would say it's going to look a lot nicer on the exterior for sure, compared to something like a Samsung Galaxy Note 20. So from that side, kind of keep that in mind. Now, they both have USB Type-C ports at the bottom, which is always really nice to have. They both have really good build qualities. The back side of the Galaxy Note 20, this was always something that was very interesting because that phone is basically going to be giving you a plastic back. So that is always something that just kind of is just so interesting. I don't know why Samsung did that for this phone, but this phone is basically going to be giving you that plastic back. Nothing crazy, nothing we haven't already seen before. A lot of phones already give you that. But if you are wanting the device that is going to be giving you kind of a better type of capability, again, you're going to have to look at a different phone like an iPhone 17 that might give you a better feeling for the most part. They both have wireless charging. The Galaxy Note 20 does actually give you reverse wireless charging, which the iPhone 17 only gives you reverse wired charging. So that is kind of a nice thing going on for the Note 20. The Note 20 is also giving you this S Pen or stylus that's built right inside of that particular device. That right there is also a very nice thing to have inside of these types of phones. And that right there, I think, is probably going to be a very cool thing where if you're going to go through and pick up a device, that right there is going to be a very cool thing to basically be able to experience. So I know for one, if I'm about to go through and pick up a device, I'm definitely looking at something like a Galaxy Note 20 for being an older phone, but it actually holds up very well compared to something like an iPhone 17. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now, on top of that, when you're taking a look at both these devices, another thing to keep in mind here is the price tag. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 is going to cost you about $190 right now, where the iPhone 17 is going to be costing you $800. So definitely without a doubt from that side, if you are trying to get the phone that's going to be a little bit better from that price per dollar standpoint, something like a Galaxy Note 20 you would think might be better, but because the Note 20 is already done getting software support, it's outdated, the iPhone 17 is definitely going to hold up a lot better from that side. So that kind of covers it up there. Now from the camera department, this is also another one of those important things. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 is giving you a triple camera setup, the iPhone 17 a dual camera setup. Now you're able to do 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both these phones, but the 5-year-old Samsung Galaxy Note 20 can actually give you 8K at 24 frames per second. Getting 8K capability right there is actually something that's insane, and having that type of capability in and of itself is something that's really, really cool. And if I'm about to go through and pick up a device, I definitely do think the Samsung Galaxy Note 20's camera is honestly surprisingly decent. Again, it isn't perfect, but definitely if I'm looking at a device, I do think this is a really, really cool thing about going through and picking up a device like a Samsung Galaxy Note 20. So in my personal opinion, if I'm picking up a device, that's definitely going to be one of the better options in my opinion, but the iPhone 17's camera is going to be better, right? That one's going to be the best one here. I know the Note 20 has 8K, but the iPhone 17's camera quality is going to be better. It's also going to be able to give you things like center stage and dual capture mode as well, which are two really cool modes. Now, I would say the iPhone 17 is probably going to be that's going to last longer as well, considering it's already the one that's still supported with software, where the Note 20 hasn't gotten a software update in quite some time, like a big One UI update. It hasn't gotten one I think in like 2 years. So that right there is also going to be another big takeaway. If you're trying to get the phone that's going to be giving you a longer lifespan or a better experience, something like the, iPhone 17, that one's going to be the better one. Including from a battery life standpoint, the iPhone 17's battery life is also going to be better from that particular situation as well. And once again, if you are trying to go through and get the phone that is going to be giving you better battery life here, then the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 just really isn't going to cut it or be as good when compared to something like an iPhone 17. And finally, when it comes down to the performance, the iPhone 17 is going to be giving you that Apple A19 chipset inside with 8GB of RAM, where the Note 20 is giving you that Snapdragon 865 chipset inside with 8GB of RAM. So, especially from a performance standpoint, I would probably tell you here as well, if you are trying to get the phone, again, that's going to be the better option, then definitely something like an iPhone 17 is probably going to be the faster one here, again, in almost every single way. That type of device is going to honestly dominate and be it's going to be giving you a way better experience and a solid performing chipset inside compared to something like a Galaxy Note 20. I think the Note 20 is a very good option. I think it was a good option when it first came out. I don't think this is a phone I'd recommend really anybody to buy anymore. It makes a lot more sense to go through and buy something like an iPhone 17 because that phone is giving you significantly better performance. But that's not the only reason I would go through and buy something like a, iPhone 17. This phone is still supported with software. That's the big thing. But you don't have to go through and just buy these two phones, right? There's a lot of phones in between I would also recommend buying. Phones like a Samsung Galaxy S23. That's hundreds of dollars cheaper than an iPhone 17. It's only like $100 more expensive than a Note 20. That's a killer phone. That's a very good phone. A Samsung Galaxy S24 would be even better. An iPhone 15 Pro would be solid. A Google Pixel 8 would be solid. Those types of phones are very, very good types of devices. And those are going to be giving you significantly better experiences than something like a, Google Pixel, than something like a Samsung Galaxy, Note 20. So from that standpoint, hopefully that makes some sense. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.